I could remember having seen some old color footage of the Bismarck, and I thought I remembered seeing shots of the deck here and there throughout, and so I found it. And sure enough, you can see the deck every so often. And nowhere am I seeing that orange. Unfortunately, it's all old, faded movies, but the color seems to be fairly true. And like I say, I'm not really seeing orange. Only once did I see something that I thought sort of came close to orange, but then the other colors were out too, so yeah, no orange. Now, was that a color film or was that a black and white film colorized? Everything that I got off the internet sort of indicated that it was actually color film. However, what I'm going by here is if you look at the faces of the crew, they all look alike. And it was sort of like the people that maybe colorized a black and white film and it's sort of done digitally. Well, they put that sort of color in. Or it could be that maybe they did all look alike. I know that, I don't know, but I'm pretty sure that back then Nazi Germany had an ideal of what you had to look like. And that was it. So, they'd want to have their crew all looking the same. Anyway, yesterday when I was spraying this with this, when the light hit it just right, well, first of all, I had done, I think, 2 passes. And then I was looking at it and you could see that it had been completely covered, even after being sprayed only a couple of times. And I think that yesterday I overdid it. I think that what happened there was that I thought it had to be opaque. In other words, you can't see any of the original color through the primer. But it could be that it doesn't have to be that thick. It could be that you can put on a nice thin coat, and as long as it's, completely covered, that's good enough. And I think if I'm going to be using this today on the deck, I'm just going to sort of, you might say, dust it on. I'm not going to put it on real thick. At least that's the plan for right now. In the meantime, the hobby store is going to be open in a couple hours, and I want to go out and get a different kind of color here. One of the viewers made an interesting comment. He says that possibly if you were to have this color up against the other colors of the ship, it might look more normal. But I just find that just too orangey, and I think probably most of the viewers felt that way too. It's just too orangey. Yeah, well, let's get going here today and see what happens. Now I realize that I occasionally go on and belabor something to death, and this is probably another one of those occasions. However, what I forgot to say was that when you colorize a black and white film, it ends up looking like whatever the whim of the people that are colorizing it want it to be. In other words, they could have had the deck green, for goodness sakes. They could have had the whole ship done in green. It would ended up looking like it belonged downstairs in my workshop. It would have matched everything else. Anyway, I think you get my point. Well, about 3 hours has passed, and I've thinned this out and shaken it. I want to do a little sample here, just see what it's going to look like. I think this is probably going to go to the other extreme. It's pretty much thinned out for spraying. But you know what? I think I'd sooner have this than this. This looks more like a weathered deck. Looks more like weathered teak. Now I gotta be honest with you, it does look more like battleship gray than it does any kind of a brown. And that other color, well, it kind of looks like Ronald McDonald had a real bad hair day or something. Now I want to try something here. What would happen if I was to take, say, 5 drops of this deck tan? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. And a new pipette here. And just 1 drop of the Hull Red. 1. Alright, let's see what would happen if we mix that up. I know I'm probably not doing this right, but okay, let's just try it here now. Doesn't have to be pretty. You know what, I think I'm going to stick with the deck tan just the way it is. And at least we know something that doesn't work. In the meantime, thanks for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow.